One of our YouTube viewers recently asked me, Andrew, when are you going to go and check out Africa? That must be the final investment frontier in the world, and I would love to hear your opinion on it. I'm going to answer that very question in this video. I'm Andrew Henderson, and if you want to learn how to work with my team and I to create your own Nomad Capitalist strategy, whether it's for finding opportunities in frontier markets or lowering your taxes or getting your second passport, you can go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn more. But let's talk about this particular question because it struck me as very interesting, yet I had an immediate reaction to being asked why I don't really talk about investing in Africa. You know, one of the things that I've learned over several years of helping hundreds of people in a very boutique way is I've gotten to understand the psychology of folks who are interested in this nomad capitalist stuff, such as investing overseas for more stability, higher returns, and greater growth potential. There are a lot of opportunities overseas, and I've talked about countries that I like, everything from Cambodia to Colombia, Georgia, potentially Armenia. I mean, there's just a lot of different countries. You know, there's a couple reasons I don't really talk so much about Africa. Number one, in order to invest in a country, there has to be some government approval of that. And so a lot of countries in Africa have rather strict foreign ownership laws. So if you can't go and buy something, then you simply can't go and buy something if you're a foreigner. So a lot of countries just aren't so welcoming to investment yet. There's not much to talk about there. Another reason that stands out to me is there just aren't that many countries that have good metrics. The reason I talk about some of the same countries over and over again is because of those countries that are open to foreign investment, some are just dramatically overpriced. And so a lot of countries in Africa actually fit that bill. I've actually have spent time looking for land, looking for development projects in places like Rwanda, which I do think have some potential, but then I compare them to all the other opportunities I have around the world, and I say, this is really expensive for a country that's at this level of development. You know, I remember a couple of years ago, I went to El Salvador, and I found a lot of deals that I just thought were expensive. And the explanation, I didn't look into it too deeply, but the explanation for why I was so dissatisfied with the deals was because there's a handful of wealthy people in the country who, just as people in so many other countries do, didn't feel comfortable necessarily investing outside of their own country. Now, I imagine there are plenty of Salvadorians who invest in Miami or something, but they put a lot of money into projects in their own country. And so what that meant was that, because there was domestic demand in a relatively small country, that prices were higher than they should have been on a global level. And so if you're a nomad capitalist, you want to step back and look at all the opportunities around the world on an even playing field. I've told the story recently where Mrs. H was going and looking at an apartment for sale in Kuala Lumpur, and the seller had suggested they would negotiate the price. We went there and they wouldn't negotiate the price. And the guy had been trying to sell the apartment for a long time, and it was a bit overpriced. And you know what they said? They said, well, that's because the seller is not desperate. To which I said, I'm less desperate. I don't even need a house in Kuala Lumpur. Not only is there so much supply, I can live here, I can live over there, I can go any country in the world. I'm not tethered here, I don't have a job here. You're not desperate, that's great, I'm less desperate. That's what I want the nomad capitalist investment philosophy to be about, is be less desperate. And so I look at a lot of these really emerging, really developing countries, and I see that the prices are higher. There aren't that many amazing markets. Now, let me tell you the big thing that I think you need to keep in mind. This is what I initially thought when I saw the question, why don't you talk more about investing in Africa? And the reasons I gave you are all very important, but let's talk about a conversation a friend of mine and I had recently. He said, Andrew, when I look at your space, this space of global citizenship, and I see some of the stuff people write about investing in other countries. He said, you know what I think about it? I said, what? He said, to me it comes off as romance novelism for men. I said, what do you mean by that? He said, well, you look at some of these people who they talk about, investing in, the newest diamond mine in, Uzbekistan. Now, is the average person who's reading that, do they want to go and invest in a diamond mine in Uzbekistan? Are they willing to take that risk? What I can tell you is, we have a full-time research and development team that works with me, that I've trained to do things my way and get to the bottom of the issue. we actually have a full-time real estate research person where all we do is just look at data and collect data on markets all around the world so we can come out and talk about trends. And that's what we, when we help people, we often help people get some pretty good deals for real estate they're buying for residence, citizenship, etc. Here's the thing. When I tell someone, hey, go down and invest in Bogota in Colombia, because my team recently found apartments in great areas, maybe they need some work, but we found one deal recently, $1,100 per square meter. This is like dirt cheap pricing in the capital city of a decent sized domestic market with millions of people expected to move to it in coming years. And it's one of the freest economies in South America. And you're paying the same price that you'd pay to buy in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, a much smaller market. I mean, and I still like Cambodia a lot, but I'm saying, hey guys, let's go and buy apartments in Colombia and get these great prices. I've got to convince people, I've got to push people a little bit to do that, right? In a country that's pretty safe, increasingly safe, I think good protection of capital on the global level. And so, why don't I talk about Africa? I don't talk about Africa because, countries that are much more developed and much less exotic are still, I think, uncomfortable to a lot of folks. Here's the bottom line that I take here at Nomad Capitalist that I think is more pragmatic than a lot of what I see in the marketplace. The amazing investment you see, the diamond mine in Uzbekistan, as it were, that you don't make, is not the best investment. The best investment is the one that you make and then performs well. And so it's nice to talk about diamond mines in Uzbekistan. I actually live in the trenches. I work with people all the time, and I see the reticence to investing overseas. I know that for a lot of people it's uncomfortable to take that first step. That's why I talk in our videos about how to take baby steps, how to dip your toe in the water, how to get started so that you can develop more and more confidence. But what I see is the confidence level of saying, hey, let's go and invest in Mauritania. That's a lot of baby steps for folks. And so what I want to encourage our audience to do, whether it's working with my team and I, or whether it's doing stuff on your own, is to make the decisions and to take the steps that you're comfortable doing. That's why I try and talk about stuff that I think people are more comfortable doing. That's another reason. In addition to the dearth of deals at times, that's another reason, and really probably the biggest reason why I don't talk about investing in Africa much. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6- or 7-figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.